Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Thursday. We are about an hour out from my Broncos getting what I'm going to imagine is a beatdown from the Chiefs. But alright folks, couple things for you. So, been working on a couple of tweaks here to the Big 3 squeeze labels. So we'll try to get an update push within the next 1 or 2 weeks. But the biggest change here is going to be the Big 3 score. The biggest addition, rather, is the Big 3 score. So I made a couple changes to the Bull score and the Bear score, and now that label just gives us an overall grade. So now the best possible score for the Bulls is a +10, and for the Bears, -10. So as far as the S&Ps go, are we in a short the rally kind of market? Are we in a buy the dip kind of market? The Big 3 score would say neither. Right, a big goose egg, big zero. Nothing leans bullish, nothing really leans bearish. We're kind of stuck for now. What I imagine could happen here, and sometimes what I imagine doesn't really come to fruition, but what I could imagine, maybe we're going to hang out here around that 21 EMA for a while. I think a lot of folks are looking for the big breakout, probably a lot of folks looking for that big flush. Maybe we get the third alternative and a little bit of chop-chop. But as far as my swing trading goes, if the S&Ps are cranking out a big zero, and then if the equal weighted index, the RSP, is cranking out a -8, it tells me right off the rip, we're not in a get long and close your eyes kind of market. Where things do look a little bit better is over in the QQQ. So the Qs, as far as the daily chart here, they get a 4, which isn't, going to knock your socks off. It's not perfect. But compared to the other indices, compared to the other sectors, it is the best of the best. And then where I'm seeing a lot of interesting action is over here on the weekly charts. So both the QQQ and the S&Ps, along with Meta, Tesla, Nvidia, Google, and a few others, we got some weekly squeeze action. And remember, you're typically going to have your best swing trading, right? The most wind at your back. When you're buying those dips, you're trading those daily squeezes. When a big weekly squeeze is just fired. QQQ back here in March. The S&Ps back in April and May. So not to say these squeezes will fire to the upside. To our benefit, though, guys, we found them early. From here, it's all pretty straightforward. Watch the structure indicators. Watch your signals. Take it from there. So the weekly score here for the Qs is 9. Meaning the only thing that we're missing keeping us from a perfect score would be a green bar. A weekly buy signal, and then a couple names for you. And then keep in mind, we got to work around the earnings announcements. Earnings kind of heats up next week, so do be mindful of that. But Meta here on this weekly squeeze, 10 out of 10. Alright, top shelf. This weekly squeeze could take you towards 340-ish to 350. Inside of it, you have a 3-day squeeze of 1 hour and a 30-minute. So there's Meta. And then for Nvidia here, perfect 10 out of 10. The target here out of this weekly squeeze, you're looking for about 520-ish. Inside of that, you have a 3-day squeeze and a 5-minute. So Nvidia's looking pretty sharp, and then Google here actually just fired the weekly squeeze. But we are squeezing up there on the 3-day. So potentially some of that nested squeeze magic. So Google gets a 9 out of 10. The only reason it's not 10 out of 10, no squeeze. Squeeze fired. So with Google here, target would be 145, 150. And then Tesla, we picked up some lotto calls here for earnings. So perfect 10 out of 10, and it's an A+ setup. Meaning we have the squeeze, we get the buy signal, and we got a good entry. So another part of the update here is going to be these risk-reward labels. So based on average true range moves, if you buy Tesla here inside the weekly squeeze, right now you're risking 0.7, meaning you're risking a move under that 21 EMA. to potentially catch a push towards the 302-ish target. So you're risking 0.7 to make closer to 2. I like that. So we bought the 310 calls for what expiration? And it's a lotto trade, so it's a scratch ticket. We bought the 310 calls for October 27th. So earnings is next week, and the thinking here is maybe, just maybe, earnings might be the catalyst to get that squeeze fire to the upside. At which point we should be cruising through 300. So 310 calls for late October. We kept it pretty cheap, risking about 1%. So there's Tesla, and then the S&Ps here. For the first time since that big push back there in May, got ourselves a brand new weekly squeeze. Now this one grades out as a -1. So I think further evidence of overall the market's not in great shape. Things aren't just overwhelmingly bullish. It's a couple of your big boys. Nvidia, Tesla, Google, Meta, they look pretty good, where the rest of the market does leave a little bit to be desired. So a few things to watch there. We took off our SPX iron condors for some pretty good profits here today. And this is the third week in a row where we cashed out on the condors. So for those of y'all in the mastery, we'll do the same thing again tomorrow. Wait about 15-20 minutes out from the close. Take the quant pivots, get next week's projections, and smack on those condors. So those worked out well. And then on Monday, we had bought some call debit spreads here in Meta. And then we flipped them out on Tuesday for a nice 80%. The classic daily squeeze. And now, as mentioned, today we picked up the 310 calls there on Tesla. But alright guys, I'm going to go watch a game here. Go Broncos. And again, the overall message is things have made a little progress. Last time we talked about a few things pointing towards, maybe the short-term bottom is in. 3 closes back above that 21 EMA. It's pretty good progress, but 0 is 0. So if anything, if you're looking to get long, I think that's got to be the Metas, the Nvidias, Teslas. Follow the pretty colors. But alright guys, have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Adios.